I can't tell you how many times I've had people call me up and be like, oh my gosh, Holly, I want to start a nonprofit. I have this amazing idea. I know that there's a gap and I really want to be able to serve this need. And I'm going to tell me what that is. And they'll tell me what it is. And I'll say, did you know there's actually 5 other nonprofits that are serving very similar needs or some of that as well? And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, you might just know about it. So it really is important to even understand what is out there and if it really is a gap. If you've ever felt called to start a nonprofit organization, make a meaningful impact, or finally turn your dream into a reality in 2026, you're in the right place. I'm Holly Rustick, and today I'm walking you through how to start a nonprofit organization in 2026, step by step, what to do, what to avoid, and how to set yourself up for long-term success. And if you're serious about it, stick around. I'll also introduce a resource that can help you do it faster and with more confidence. All right, so starting a nonprofit isn't just about having a heartfelt mission. It's about creating a solid foundation so you can actually serve, grow, raise funding, and thrive. The landscape is evolving: digital, remote, hybrid, operations, AI. And if you don't get the basics right, you'll lose momentum. So let's dive in. Step number 1, clarify your mission and your vision and identify the need. The very first step is to define your mission and vision. What gaps are you filling? Who are you serving? And why is now the time? I can't tell you how many times I've had people call me up and be like, oh my gosh, Holly, I want to start a nonprofit. I have this amazing idea. I know that there's a gap and I really want to be able to serve this need. And I'm like, okay, sure. Tell me what that is. And they'll tell me what it is. And I'll say, did you know? Because I know I'm in my community of nonprofits. I'll be like, there's actually 5 other nonprofits that are serving very similar needs or some of that as well. And I'm like, yeah, you might just not know about it. So it really is important to even understand what is out there and if it really is a gap. And it could be even if there's another nonprofit that's doing similar work, but maybe they're not hitting prevention program, they're only doing treatment. So there could be an overlapping need that is a gap that is there as well, but it really is important to understand what is the gap. Who are you serving? Why is now the time? You also need to create a clear mission statement, right? You need to be very clear on this as far as like, what are we doing today? Who are we? What are we doing today? And what is the need that we are filling? And also we need to have a very clear vision statement. What does success look like in 10 years from now? What will be achieved? We will have done X, served X. This is accomplished. And of course, do the research as I mentioned. What other organizations exist? Where are the actual gaps? This clarity will guide you for your next steps, and that's governance, funding, and operations. So let's go into step number 2. Form a working board and governance structure. Once your mission is clear, you'll need a board of directors who believe in the mission and are willing to govern. And maybe it's a working board that they're actually out there getting busy, their hands dirty a little bit, helping out. Choose diverse, committed people, not just friends and family. Set expectations early, time commitments, have fundraising, roles, create bylaws, articles of incorporation, conflict of interest policies. Good governance builds credibility and sets you up for success in funding. And yes, Dr. Bev Browning and we have developed a how to start a nonprofit with our Nonprofit Startup Academy. And we have over 70 templates, not a million, but over 70 templates, including sample bylaws, articles, conflict of interest policies, and all of that in that product. Just click in the link below. Because you will need those things. Absolutely. Step number 3, file incorporation and get tax-exempt status. So now comes the paperwork as well. We're building onto that paperwork. You're going to need to file your articles of incorporation at the state level at the very least as a nonprofit or corporation. And then you want to also apply for federal tax-exempt status, potentially if you're in the US as well, right? Or in territories. Make sure you have your board resolution, bylaws, and initial minutes of your first meeting. If you skip this or delay it, you'll block your ability to fundraise or apply for many grants, because this can take 4 months, 12 months, etc. to get those resignations. It doesn't mean you can't start doing that, but you will have to retroact and have all of that. And when you are a nonprofit, actual registered organization, it doesn't mean that you're not a business. You're still a business. It's just your profit is going back into your programs. Step number 4, strategic planning and operations. With structure in place, you're going to want a strategic plan and operational setup. The key aspects of this is you want to have your mission, your goals, your objectives, and your action steps. What exactly are you going to do? When? What are your main priorities? You're going to want to do it all right away, get a whole building, do all that. But what can you do year over year? What is your capacity? You can also conduct a SWOT analysis, and that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This can be really helpful, and it can be something your board does. And of course, set up your financial controls. How are you keeping your budget? What are you using for your bookkeeping or your accounting system? Many people like to select a board member for their treasurer as someone who already works on a bank or as a CPA and has this type of knowledge and can support as well. And step number 5, funding and revenue streams. You've got the structure. Now, how do you fund the mission? Here's where many start strong and then stall. Here's a few tips. Coming from the grant writer expert herself, don't rely solely on grants. New nonprofits aren't generally able to even secure grant funding right away, so you want to build in other funding sources like donations, individual donations, even car washes, bake sales. All of that can help. Once again, show the funder, right? When you start getting grants, it can build your portfolio that you know how to manage money, you know how to implement projects. But you want a mix of funding, individual donors, board contributions, yes, board contributions, earned income, so that could be like products you're selling or services you're doing, corporate sponsorships, and grants. Begin building a case for support. Clearly articulate your impact, outcomes, and needs again. That way you can show that you know how to manage money, that you know how to implement projects. Step number 6, branding, messaging, and digital presence. Even nonprofits need strong branding, right? You're going to need a clean website. You're going to need clear messaging, who you serve, why it matters, how you serve them. You're also going to need to pick at least one social media platform, have an email list, and storytelling content eventually. You don't have to do all of this at once, but you are going to want to do this eventually along the way. You can also have donor-friendly tools like online giving and newsletters. When your brand and your message are strong, you build trust, which leads to support, donors, and impact. If you're following along and thinking, I want to do this, but it feels overwhelming, I do have something that can help. Once again, Dr. Bev Browning and mine, we have our Nonprofit Startup Academy, and this is a 4-module online course where we walk you through the exact steps that we've talked about: board development, strategic planning, funding and funding streams, and branding. It includes more than 70 templates, sample legal documents, checklists, and everything ready to plug in. If you want support, a roadmap, and a shortcut to a lot of the overwhelm, check out the link below. So there you have it. 6 key steps to launching a nonprofit in 2026. Clarify your mission, build a board, get legal status, plan operations, fund the mission, and build your brand. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos on grant writing, nonprofit growth, and more. Drop a comment and let me know, what's your nonprofit idea? What's your biggest hang up right now? And I'll answer your questions in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Go build something meaningful, and I'll see you next time.